Hello and welcome to The Great Indoors,
the podcast which reveals everything you ever needed to know about interiors and explains how to make it all really work for you in your home.
I'm Sophie Robinson.
And I'm Kate Watson-Smythe. And today, for the final episode of our Back to Basics series, we're going to be answering your questions. Now, we've taken you through planning and layout, lighting and budget, and last week was all about styling and finishing touches.
So this week, well, it's over to you.
Hang on a minute, actually. Before we give the floor, I would just like to say, for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, or possibly for those of you who aren't, I would like to lay down for the record that Sophie is wearing a beige t-shirt. Don't at me with the it's brown, it's oatmeal, it's cream. It's actually beige.
I mean, I'm so busted.
You're so busted. You see, it was your idea to do video and now it's busted you.
Oh my God. It is.
What's going on?
I think it's caramel or like.
It's not caramel. Caramel is darker. It's not coffee. If someone gave me a cafe au lait that was that colour, it's the colour of dishwater. It's beige.
Oh, I quite like my new t-shirt. I am wearing it with pink trousers. Does that
no, because we can't see the pink trousers. I just, I mean, after everything, after all years of attitude you've given me, I'm reining in my language, and now look at you, turns up in a beige t-shirt. My gast is flabbered.
I'm quite enjoying this colour. I don't know, I was in a mood maybe I'm in a mellow mood today, Kate. You should be rejoicing in the fact that I'm feeling a bit softer and caramelly. And look, I love all the colours.
No, you don't. You don't. Okay. You've got a hashtag called Ban the Beige. Yeah, I mean, as I see it here, I'm not even trying very hard. You have not a leg to stand on.
I have not a leg to stand. I literally have no comeback, do I?
No, nothing.
No, nothing. Maybe it's because I'm wearing beige. I've got no mojo.
Yeah, there you go. You see,
this is what happens.
Colour, you'll be asleep before the episode's out. It'll just be the KWS show. Marvellous.
Because meanwhile, you're looking quite. I'm not only am I seeing colour, Kate, I'm seeing pattern as well.
Yes,
on the same
I like
top.
Pattern. Yes, so this top is, I'll tell you exactly what colour it is. This is Farrow and Ball Arsenic.
Oh, I love
this
colour.
Top, which is a
spearminty green, I'd say.
Minty green with a bit of pattern on it. And the reason I'm wearing it actually is I bought it, it's very old, I bought it in 2019 because I was writing the second book in the Mad About the House series, and we'd already decided, the first one was pink, and we'd decided the cover of the second one was going to be this arsenic green colour. And so I bought the top and I was all ready to wear it for the launch. And the launch party, you won't remember this, was scheduled for the 24th of March, 2020. And I don't know if you remember what happened on the 23rd of March, 2020.
No. Oh, 2020.
Yeah.
March. I do remember what happened.
Yes.
Rocky D.
Yes, the country went into lockdown. So this top has been in lockdown. And I just thought today, and the reason I thought I'd wear it today is because actually it's got these, I'm showing for the benefit of the camera.
Who even are you? Are those
bows?
bows?
I do love a statement sleeve actually. And this has got massive kind of ties and bows, which makes it totally impractical for doing anything at all other than sitting around chatting. So I thought, look, I've got an hour where I've got nothing to do apart from sit and chat. I can wear my flappy sleeves and they won't get in the way of anything.
I was going to say they'd be dripping into your dinner, into
stirring
your soup.
Yeah.
It's
not a practical top. It is a stand around, look glamorous at a party top. But I thought we'd sit around, chat on a podcast.
I'm now feeling woefully...
You're feeling drab in beige, are you?
I am feeling so woefully underdressed. I can't even tell you. In fact, my top matches my hair. So I'm just sort of like...
Is that the problem? Are you fading into your own background?
I'm fading into my own background.
You know what it looks like on a Zoom? You know how people blur their background so you can see them? You've gone the other way.
Blurred myself.
It's really highlighted your background wallpaper. And I'm sort of groping through the mists of beige to find you.
I think what's happened is I've just been to the Love Supreme Festival, and I have been wearing all the colour, all the pattern. I've been I've been channeling what I'm calling my gangster era.
God.
I wore that hideous necklace that I bore in Turin that you really, really hate, the really, really plasticky one.
It's just super plastic.
Super plastic, big gold chain, lots of plastic perspex, medallions hanging from it, faux Chanel tags, everything to upset you. But I love it because I bought it with you. So every time I wear it, it reminds me of you and how angry I make you. But I think after a weekend of partying, wearing all the colour, wearing all the bling, I've just hit the ground, needing to ground myself, recenter myself.
Well, I have to say, guys, this is a momentous moment. Sophie's never ever felt the need to ground herself or to recenter herself or to, fade into the background. So I don't know what's going on.
These are all words you would never expect to come out of my mouth.
No, exactly.
They're your words.
No, you. Do you even understand what you're saying?
I don't even know who I am anymore. But I think we should just crack on with the show. Enough. So who's first up? Who are we going to help out now that I've been completely assassinated by my co-host and I've lost all my self-worth and self-belief and I don't even know who I am anymore. Let's see if we can help any of our lovely listeners out
Well,
there.
I mean, I don't know. It's not looking good, is it? Let's see if we can help Melissa. Melissa said, we are unsure about whether to put any recessed downlights / spotlights in our dining room. We have 2 wall lights, a pendant over the dining room table and a 5-amp socket for a large lamp. But I'm thinking that at times the dining table will be used for homework, art, jigsaws, and I'm erring on the side of putting some downlights on a separate circuit to brighten the space up when needed, and a few on another circuit to light the wall of cabinetry, which is our main storage hub for downstairs. Is 6 spotlights too much? We are planning to colour drench the room in a denim type colour, so that's a denim-y blue, and I'm wondering, will the spotlights look ugly? But surely function trumps this. And then, how do we pick the right wall lights? I like simple lights, maybe even ones I can paint to match the wall, but I don't like the ones that make a very clear triangle of light above and below. What would you suggest for atmospheric diffuse light? So, well, there's a lot of lighting going on there. Melissa, did you listen to the lighting episode? Failing that,
we're all right
on spots.
We're all right. We can go all over this again. I think this is a really interesting question because it starts off, we talk about the dining room, but actually this is one of those classic multifunctional rooms.
Yeah.
So it might be used for more atmospheric stuff in the evening if you're throwing a supper party or whatever and you want something a bit more on the down low. But then, yes, if you're doing art projects, jigsaws, homework, you're going to need task lighting. So I think first up, well done, Melissa, 10 out of 10 for realising that you can put your lighting on different circuits. This means that some lights come on with one switch, other lights will come on with another switch. You don't have to have everything all on at once. And I think just that as a basic bit of advice, that if you have got a multifunctional room, you need multifunctional lighting. So for a traditional dining room, I would say that the pendant, the wall lights and a lamp in the corner, perfect. I do worry that if you're colour drenching, Denim's is a very, very dark denim blue from Farrow & Ball. I absolutely love the idea of this, and this will be brilliant for your more atmospheric evening supper parties. But you're right, when it comes to doing homework or art projects, it's going to be a bit of a cave. I've got a few spotlight downlighters, recessed downlighters in my snug, which is in a similarly dark colour, be it more of a sort of like aubergine colour. What I would say is if you are going to put downlighters, I don't know whether you need 6 for a start. I think I've just got about 3 in my snug. You might just want a couple over the dining table.
I was going to say, if you've got the pendant in the middle of the table, maybe just a couple of spots either side.
And then that will be enough to brighten that tabletop. I don't think you need spots anywhere else in the room. Also, you can get spotlights, recessed spotlights, which you can paint. And that's what I did in my snug. So you don't get that white or chrome ring.
Oh, that's crucial. I mean, if you're going spotlights, you don't install them till you've found some paintable ones, because white spotlights in a dark blue ceiling is going to be horrendous.
Yeah, or brass or gold or
Yeah.
any of those finishes that they come in. In fact, I would say paintable spotlights, even if in a white room or a pale painted room, I never want the spotlight to be something that shines out in a metallic or something.
And I would also say it's really key. I mean, you don't say what sort of pendant light you've got, but I think, you know, you can get pendant lights. The key with the light is if it's got a sort of metal shade, like a sort of vintage rise and fall, then the light is only going to come downwards. I suggest you might want something like that old-fashioned paper ball light. I mean, you can get more sophisticated versions now, which have got linen material stretched over the frame, and that's going to give you a decent amount of light, but it will do a certain job of lighting the whole room. So I think you want to choose that pendant light carefully, because I would say, what time of day are you doing these jigsaws and homework? I mean, I'm assuming there's windows in this room. I mean, is there any form of natural light?
Well, I suppose the thing is in summer it's not an issue.
Yeah.
But let's remember it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the winter. So I suppose that's when the lighting is going to be really, really important. I did also just think as well, when we're talking about just lighting the table, you remember, I remember doing a project for that Channel 5 TV show that I did a few years ago, Dream Home Makeovers, and we painted somebody's whole living room black. They wanted a black living room.
But wasn't that a huge room?
It was a huge room, but they wanted to have a snooker table in it.
That's right.
Table in it. And we used, I got an actual snooker table light to hang over the top of it.
So long. So, what are you saying? A long, thin one?
Yeah, long with all the light, with the light focused on the tabletop, which is obviously important if you're playing pool, that you can see the bays and the balls, and I assume that's kind of important. I don't play either of those sports. But it did allow the rest of the room to stay quite atmospheric because the light was just all on the tabletop.
And there are lights, and I think I've seen the very beautiful, more expensive ones from Original BTC, which is an international company, so you can all look at them, which can be like a rectangle with glass in them, or I think possibly Graham and Green, which is only British, have versions. I mean, there's nothing to say, I suppose, that you've only got to have one pendant light in the middle. Instead of a spotlight either side, you could have 3 pendants over the table, like everybody's really comfortable with doing that over a kitchen island. Oh, I've got a kitchen island, I need 3 pendant lights. Well, dining room table, you know, you could have 3 pendant lights over the dining room table and do it that way, because you also mentioned the spotlights on some storage unit, a wall of cabinetry. You could have spotlights in front of that washing the light down, but you could also use that LED tape, which you just sort of stick it on, and you could stick it on the bottom of a shelf to light the things below, or on the top of the shelf to wash the light up. And then it has a transformer. And if it's a wall of cabinetry, you can easily hide that behind a speaker or a book or something else. And that's a different form of light. So actually, when you're having dinner, we're not talking about homework, you could have, you know, maybe one of the pendant lights and just the cabinetry lit and some wall lights. So you could, again, it's all different circuits. You can choose which ones you put on.
What I would say, though, when we're talking about the cabinetry, she mentions it's her main storage hub for downstairs. And I saw a little red flag when she said that. And I thought, just check that this main storage hub, anything that's on show or being lit, needs to be really beautiful.
Yes, it's got to look nice.
It shouldn't be lighting up the pile of jigsaws neatly stacked in a shelf, or the piles of homework books or whatever. I would say if you're going to light your storage area, make sure it's showing off beautiful glassware or vases or artwork.
Well, and also what she doesn't say, if it's a wall of cabinetry but it's solid doors, there's nothing to light.
I'm glad you worked that out, Kate.
I got there. Yeah, I was just assuming it was shelves. But yeah, you need to think about that.
And then lastly, the wall lights. I love this idea of the room being washed in this dark denim colour. Ceiling, walls. I hope you're going to do the doors, the window frames, all of it.
Woodwork.
And then play with washing the light on the walls. I think that's super, super good idea. And I even like the idea of painting the wall light fittings in with a similar colour too. So the attention is on the wash of colour. I know what you mean about those little wall lights that do a triangular light above and
They
below.
tend to be metal again, and that's why, because there's no light that can come out of the sides, so you're getting the up and down.
Yeah, so instead, I suppose you want to look at a wall light that creates more of a diffuse light.
You need a wall light that has a lampshade.
Oh, okay. So it's like shining through a fabric rather than just
And
shining on the wall.
So you could probably paint I don't know what you call it, the bracket, the stem, the bit that holds the bulb, if you wanted. And then you could have a very soft, linen shade or even half shade that goes in front of the bulb. And that will just allow the light to go back against the wall and also then just softly diffuse out around it. Because if you have a blue shade, you're not going to get much light.
Well, you'll get a bit of a blue light as well, which will just feel chilly. The other thought is to do a wall light which diffuses the light all the way around. That can look really lovely, like a circular wall light. I know Tom Dixon does them. I'm sure there are
House of does them.
House of do them. Yeah, that could look really nice. And I think what you need to remember as well, Melissa, is when you've painted a room in a dark colour, the light you will really see it. You will really see the contrast. Yeah. So whichever wall lights you choose, I think, make sure that the wash of light is really pretty and decorative.
I mean, you'll be back into the hell, and we addressed this, you'll be back into the hell of bulbs. You'll find beautiful shades, but I mean, it could take you 6 months to find the right bulbs to put in. It's too warm, it's too orange, it's too cold, it's too blue, it's pale,
you probably definitely want to err on a warm light against your
2,700 kelvins.
Oh, there she goes. She's so
there you
good.
go.
So I hope that was a chunky question to start our style surgery. Well done, Melissa. I'm loving the sound of your room, and I love the sound that you're already quite far down the road of knowing that you've got to have lots of different lighting solutions.
And what I really like is the fact that you've been, you've thought about what the room is going to be used for, and you've acknowledged that there may be dark days when it's a jigsaw and how you're going to see what you're doing. Yes. So
she has been listening. Melissa has been listening.
Yes, she gets all the points for that.
Yes, she gets all the points.
You tell us what Joe's got to say.
So next up, Joe, who says, my husband and I have just bought a 3-bedroom terraced house in South Yorkshire, one of thousands of former miners' cottages, and it has a tiny bathroom. My husband suggested that the bathroom becomes a shower-only wet room, and how would I feel about having a freestanding bath in the master bedroom, like some fancy boutique hotel? Well, she goes on to say, I feel excited, is how I feel. But I'm wondering if there are any considerations I might not have thought about. The room is 4 by 4 metres with no alcoves and just one door and one window. So lots of opportunities. Oh, Joe, I feel your excitement. I love it. I love that you're thinking outside the box. And yes, if you've got a really tiny bathroom, it can feel pinched and squeezed to have a shower and a bath. You usually have to have a shower over a bath, and that never feels like shower.
Well, and the future proofing is if you can have a walk-in shower, then you can use that for years, because you don't have to climb over the side of a bath, which is quite high, to get in the shower.
So we're on board. We're on board with making your tiny bathroom into a wet room. So the freestanding bath in a master bedroom is a very out-of-the-box, quirky idea. I personally feel excited for you because I think I might like to have a bath in my bedroom.
Well,
too.
I was just that your bedroom is about 24 metres square, but I mean there's definitely room. And I wonder, I mean we're now not, sorry Joe, we're parking this, we're going to talk about Sophie for a minute. But you've got a huge bedroom and you've got chairs in front of your French window. And I actually do wonder how often you sit in those chairs, because you've also got a dressing table. I mean, that would imply that you're in your bedroom quite a lot, whereas actually a bath, not necessarily in front of the window, although I appreciate you may not have neighbours. I wonder if you'd use that more.
I could fit a bath. My bedroom's probably 5 by 6 metres. Yeah, 6.5. It is a big bedroom, and I absolutely. Oh, Joe,
she's
you've
off.
Inspired me. I absolutely could. And I tell you why that would work for me. Because again, I'm following my own design process. What am I doing in the room? How do I want to feel in the room? All the rest of it. And I am a shower person, because I'm a get up and go, let's get going, turn it to cold at the end, go and smash my day. And I occasionally have a bath. Probably it will be a Friday night soak or, a Sunday morning thing or whatever. So it's something I don't do often, but when I do it, it's a luxury. It's a self-care ritual, Kate, is what it is.
Oh God, you just knew that'd be one of those phrases, didn't you?
So I think, therefore, being in a bedroom, that would be okay because it's not something that you're hopping in and out of every day. It's an occasional use. So I think it fits your brief. Well, it fits my brief, Joe, is what I've just worked out.
I'm sorry, Joe. You're so out of the current programme now. It's all about Sophie.
However, Joe, your room is 4x4, which is a good size room, but I want to know what else is going on in that room. Obviously,
well, the bed is 2 metres long, isn't it?
Yeah.
A standard bed is 2 metres long. So that would leave you 2 metres at the end, which would actually give you could have the bed at the bottom of the bath. You could have a metre. It's not a metre wide.
The bath at the bottom of the bed.
Yes. So you would have a metre if you put the bath up against the wall, and because it would probably have to go on some kind of platform or box to get all the plumbing in underneath, unless you're lifting the floor. So you've got your plinth for the bath on, then you could have a metre between bath and bed, so you could walk round. So that would be one solution for a full length bath, which a standard bath is 1.7.
Or you could have a little slipper bath in the corner and tuck it in if you wanted something a bit smaller.
Well, those are great slipper baths because they sort of, by their very nature, they're happy to be backed up against a wall. And do you know why I like a slipper bath in a bedroom, actually? Because the bath is in the bedroom where you don't expect to see it. A slipper bath, which is a smaller bath, it's more of a sit-up job, but it's higher at one end. It sort of harks back to the old pre-plumbing days when you just filled the tub with water.
Filled the tub, yeah.
And so I quite like the idea in a small bedroom of a small slipper bath. I mean, it depends how you bathe, Joe. You know, if you want to lie down, then that's not going to work. But if you're a sort of sit up, have your head propped up against the high end and read a book.
Reading Jane Austen in your slipper bath.
That's going to work quite well. And also, don't forget, you could paint the outside of the bath now. So that's a decor opportunity. So it doesn't have to just be a white slab in the middle of your bedroom. You can bring in the colours from the curtains or the bedding or something else.
I mean, from a practical point of view, quite often bedrooms are carpeted. So that is something to think about, is how you're going to manage the bath, the wet area, and a carpet. If you indeed have a carpet, you might have a wooden floor.
But that's when you'd have the because it would have to go on a box, wouldn't it, for the plumbing? So that would be tiled.
I don't know whether it would necessarily have to go on a box.
I suppose it depends on your floor, doesn't it?
Yeah, and whether you're in a renovation stage where you can start sinking pipes into the floor. Like that would be a possibility. But you might feel of maybe tiling, like a little rug for the bath to sit on. So when you first step out of the bath, you're stepping onto a little bit of tiles. But then also you can remedy it by having a bath mat as well. And I'm guessing, Joe, you know, you're not wrestling toddlers in this bath or anything, and you can just gracefully step out of it into your dressing gown.
And you can also get bath mats now, can't you, from Anthropology and places which are sort of designed to look like rugs. I don't know if they've got them in now, but they had a while ago a series of bath mats that sort of look like Persian rugs. So you can play with that idea. I've never wanted a bath in my bedroom, and suddenly I'm really into it. Talk myself round.
Well, I always think of, like, you know, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? But I seem to think it was like Babington House, the Soho.
Yeah, it's very
group.
Soho home, and it was quite 90s, I think.
It was quite 90s, wasn't it? They started putting roll tops in all their bathrooms, and it felt very, very like a very louche thing to do to have a, you know, bath in a bathroom. And now it's a bath in a bedroom, and now it feels a little bit more acceptable.
I mean, if I was going to do it, I don't think, Joe, you would have room for this, but I also would quite like the idea of having a sort of screen around it. So you can now buy wicker screens or rattan screens, so that I sort of quite like that idea of mystery. So it's got the shower around it, which obviously you can hang your dressing gown on or your towel or something like that. But so if you've got space, if it's a slipper bath in the corner, you could just kind of screen it off as well, and then it's a little sort of surprise in the corner. Oh, we're all doing this now. Right, let's call the plumber.
We're all doing this. We're all putting baths in our bedrooms. Watch this space. Okay, next up we've got Rebecca, who has a fabulous question about a wall-mounted TV.
Oh, the TV and the wall-mounted TV and hiding the TV. Rebecca says, I'd love to get your help. She's painted her wall of her kitchen, dining, everyday living area in Masquerade Mid by Little Green and Loft White. So Masquerade it's a sort of plastery pink. It's very warm. It's got a slightly peachy orangey undertone, but it's a gorgeous colour, not as brown as plaster. There are 2 sofas in front of the TV. One is teal and one is stripy pink. My question is, what to do with the wall? Having it blank apart from the TV looks too boring. Decorating around the TV by putting art around it with the TV at the centre doesn't appeal. I want to minimise the TV rather than drawing attention to it. What about one big piece of landscape art above, or a landscape mirror, or several small floral prints? Point to note, I like order, so I need straight lines when hanging art. So the organic gallery wall ain't going to fly here. The room is also looking fairly new, apart from a vintage table and dresser elsewhere. So maybe something older would work well on that wall. Lot to unpack.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? So I think it's a few things. It's a very pale, pretty pale coloured wall, which means the black TV just looks really horrific against it. It's also what I'm leaning into here is you've got quite like a nice soft vintage vibe. You talk about liking floral prints and having a vintage table and dresser, blah, blah, blah. So again, a very modern piece of tech is really rubbing, isn't it, against the whole aesthetic of this room. So I feel your pain, Rebecca, and I think there'll be lots of people groaning in sympathy of how we tackle this. Kate, got any good ideas?
Well, the first thing I was going to say was it's interesting, this idea of putting pictures around it. I think that only works if you've got one of those expensive frame TVs, because that then has a picture on it and you can put pictures around it. And
so the Sony frame TV means that when it's switched off, it has almost like a screensaver.
Yes.
That you can
so
put
it looks like a picture.
in.
And I think there are other TVs that do it too, but the Samsung frame is the most well-known one. So that then you can put pictures around that in straight lines or in grids or however you want. That's going to work. If you're just talking about...
I have to say, sorry, you were maybe about to say this, but I want to make sure this gets said because I feel quite strongly. You can't put one piece of landscape art above a telly.
I was going to...
You were about to say... Okay.
Well, all I was going to say was, if you've got the frame, yes, you can hang things around it in a grid or straight lines, because then your TV is hidden as a picture among a whole load of other pictures.
Do you know what,
there's
though?
a slight glow,
back on that.
but it's not.
I'll push back on that and say, actually, I think even if you've got a regular black telly, you can still hang loads of art around it because it will detract from the black telly.
But I think she doesn't want to. So you're back to your point.
She doesn't want that. So
no, you're absolutely right.
So I'm going to say, Rebecca, you cannot put a landscape.
That's just
art.
2 big rectangles. One's black and one's got a picture.
And
Same
also
with
your
the mirror.
art will be too high.
Yeah.
So it look bonkers all up there, and then left to right will look really empty.
So there's the other. So there's the new idea. Now there is. So I think I'm not sure if the sofa's under it. Doesn't make it clear. But so I saw something which I thought was really, really clever and easy to do. And she's an Instagram influencer called Teresa Gromsky. And she has a big black TV on her wall. And she bought from an art shop a big canvas, like a canvas stretched over a very lightweight wooden frame. And she bought it to be so that the frame was maybe an inch or 2 wider than the TV all the way around. And I think she's a very good artist. She draws. So she drew something on it. But you could, get your kids to draw something on it or just paint it in a colour to match the wall or whatever you wanted. And then, because it weighs nothing, she simply hooked it over the TV on the wall. So all day she's looking at a piece of canvas art, and then when she wants to watch TV, it weighs nothing. She just unhooks it and props it down behind the sofa or puts it in one corner. I thought that was super affordable and super clever. You're making a real face at me. I like that idea. Go on, tell me what's wrong with that. It's light, it's easy, it's cheap.
The only bit, no, I'm on board with it, but I'm still trying to get over the fact that you said, buy a canvas, get your kids to paint something on it.
Well, I've seen lots of people do that. I mean, it depends on, you might want to, if you're into Jackson Pollock, that's going to work. What
I'm hearing here is this is a cheap hack on a more finessed idea, shall I say, of actually having a proper piece of artwork.
Yeah, I mean, you could
that
actually have a piece of
slides
art
across.
put onto canvas.
So we've seen people like Sophie Ashby's very cleverly done this. I think Laura Jackson did it in her home. And lots of interior does. It's not a new idea, but it's a bit more expensive because it requires a little bit of bespoke joinery in so much as you need to create a bracket, a framed piece of artwork, which, as you say, is a little bit bigger than the telly. So you can slide it along its runners to hide the TV by day and then slide it away from the TV when you want to switch it on. It's a beautifully sophisticated solution to hiding a television set. And what you're saying is Teresa's gone, yeah, I don't want to spend 500, 600, 700 quid on getting somebody in to go through all that stuff. So I'm just going to lob a lightweight canvas over the top of my telly.
Well, what I would say
genius.
on that is you could do your own canvas, but also, I mean, years ago we had, I think they were quite fashionable when the boys were small. We had some photographs of them, and there was a bit of a fashion of having them sort of printed onto canvas in Warhol-like colours.
Okay.
And so we had the boys done. I mean, I think they were like 1 and 3 or something. And we had 4 blocks of, so 1, 2 and 2. And the colours were bright orange, bright yellow, bright green and bright turquoise or something. And it was literally on that kind of canvas frame. So you could have a photograph reproduced, not even in a Warhol-like way, or you could look around and on Etsy or something, find a print you like, have it put onto a piece of canvas. So it's something that's not your kids scribbling if that's what you didn't want. But the idea is it's a lightweight thing that you can hook on and off. I think that's affordable and elegant. So I won't hear any more about it. Unless you got another idea. Mrs. Beige over there, have you got a nice beige idea for us?
I mean, I'm just speechless. I think I'll go with that. I think we've given Rebecca tons of ideas. Hopefully she'll go with one of them, and also told her what not to do.
Yes, there we go. Right.
Okay, next up we've got Helen Fenton, who got in touch through Instagram, and she says, is wallpapering the kitchen cupboard fronts and the drawer fronts a thing?
That's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm not sure it's a thing. The question is, could you or could you not do it? I mean, my instinct is no, because it's not going to be tough enough for, fingers and wiping and cleaning, and the corners are going to peel. But I tell you what is a thing would be, I don't know what you call it now. I'm going back to my 1970s Blue Peter days. I'm going to say Fablon. That's not the word, is it? But that printed sticky back plastic.
Sticky vinyl.
So that if the point, Helen, is, and you're at fenton.h, is that you want a pattern, then look for some of that sticky
stuff,
vinyl, sticky patterned vinyl plastic. That would work really well. And why don't we have patterned kitchen fronts? What a great idea.
I know, it is a brilliant. Well, I am going to take you back to my
1976. It was a hot summer.
I might feel that old today, but I wasn't buying my first house in 1976. I was buying my first house in 2007.
Okay.
And I inherited a kitchen. It was a pear wood shaker style kitchen.
What is pear wood? Is that
It's beige, Kate. It's super bloody beige.
You'd fit right in now.
Yeah,
20 years later.
And I couldn't afford to replace it. And so I painted it with my Zinza primer, which, has been often talked about on the podcast. This is an all surface primer, which means, because I think the kitchen was like a laminate. No, it wasn't. It was solid pear wood, actually. No, because I think that's why I didn't rip it out as well. It was a good quality kitchen. Anyway, I put a primer on it. I painted it lilac, actually. And then because it was a shaker door front, it was framed. And I put wallpaper inside the frame.
And then you're not getting at the corners, are you?
You're not getting the picky corners because it's exactly. But then I did varnish it within an inch of its life. So it became completely wipeable. And that was a very, very durable way. So yes, you can wallpaper kitchen cupboard fronts and drawer fronts, but you need to be careful about the corners. You can go, I have also wallpapered bedroom drawers to the edge.
You're using those less, though. You're not attacking those with a cloth every other day.
No,
Well, nor am I
it's
attacking mine with a
true.
cloth every other day. But in theory, people who are, cleaner than I am.
What I would do is very carefully with a scalpel knife is just be a couple of millimeters inside the edge.
Yeah,
so
it's
the
a
wallpaper never
tricky job.
meets the edge. Inside the edge, and then again lacquer with the wallpaper varnish, and you might get away with it. But you've got to be very, very neat.
The other thing I would say, I was chatting to Ruth Mottershead of Little Green yesterday, and she was telling me that she painted her kitchen, and they've got a paint, I think it's called Intelligent Grip or something. You don't even need primer. Apparently,
No,
this
that's
paint,
their all-surface primer.
This is new.
They've got a new one.
They had all-surface primer, which you did for your UPVC windows, which is great. You prime it and then you paint the colour of the choice. Now they've got something called Intelligent Grip. You don't even need the primer. They've done themselves out of one of their entire products. But it paints wood, metal, laminate, everything. And you just go on in the colour you want in 2 coats.
Oh,
and
so they colour tint it. They colour tint it.
And she did her cupboards. And interestingly, she did her tiles. And I was like, really? Creative director of Little Green, you're telling me, and this is going to work? Now, she's got a small child. I'm not going to insult her by saying exactly how old she is, but she's small, she's messy. And they're cooking tomato sauce. And she said, dried on tomato sauce splashes on the tiles. She's using a scourer. So, Helen, if you're about colour, then maybe paint would be the way to go. If you're about pattern, sticky back plastic, vinyl, whatever the word is.
Or wallpaper with lots of varnish over the top.
Yeah.
And a very steady hand with the scalpel knife to make sure.
Yeah, that just all sounds really scary.
Yeah. Lovely.
Right,
Thank you, Helen.
we need to move on. We've been here for hours. The next question, is this me? This is Amy Kelly, also from Instagram, called @AmyKelly09. When it comes to choosing a carpet colour, how do you go about that? I'm looking at a kind of taupe colour that's not too light and not too dark. Also,
same colour
I'm
as my
called
t-shirt
Goldilocks. Yeah, beige. It's a tone that is in a beautiful floral traditional pattern that I have on 2 wing chairs. The sofa is a kind of darker denim blue, and I plan to do the walls in a very soft off-white with white trim. I wanted a neutral carpet. There's a wood burner, we have small children and a dog. So I'm trying to be sensible, but I want it to look pretty. So the question is, would you choose a tone that's in some material that's going to be in the room, or am I going about this all wrong? Well, I think she's answered her own question.
Yeah, basically, I mean, you know exactly what you're doing. You just got to hold the faith. You have been listening and absorbing all this information. So perfect. I think we're just here to reaffirm to you and to everybody else who's listening is this is how you pick your neutrals. So you have your colour palette within your fabrics. You've got the dark denim. You don't talk about what colours are in your florals, but essentially the background colour is this neutral. So yes, it doesn't have to match exactly the colour of the fabric, but it has to be tonally similar. So for example, is it a grey taupe or a warm beigey taupe? Because no 2 taupes are the same either. So really it's all about looking at the fabrics and the other elements. There might be some timbers in there, you might have some wood tones in your furniture or whatever, and get all your swatches together with your carpet swatches, which is again really important that you get the actual swatch. You're not just picking this off the internet. And make sure that they tonally feel similar. Are they cool neutrals or are they warm neutrals? That's the most basic way of looking at it.
One thing I would say, if you're worried that the colours are going to sort of, if you think your carpet's going to blend into your walls and you've just got these chairs, consider taking out one of the stronger colours from the chairs and doing the skirting boards in that. Or the woodwork, because then you're just you're delineating between your neutral walls and your neutral carpet, but you're still getting some really good personality in there. So you could have a lovely deep blue on the skirting boards and around the door frame if you wanted, just to bring it all together.
You really are in a flamboyant mood today.
Oh, I love painting a skirting board. I banned white paint. I did it many, many years ago in one of our earliest episodes. So, I'm leaning into the coloured woodwork.
I think that's so really what we're saying, Amy, is look at this beautiful traditional pattern on your wing chairs and spin the colours out from there and have a bit of fun with it.
Right. Tell us about Vicky.
So Vicky writes in and says, I recently came across your podcast and it's so helpful as someone who's recently bought a new-ish built house and has no idea how to design it. I was doing some research on colours for the living room, which is north facing, and a lot of things were saying use something with a pink, not yellow undertone, which can help warm the room up a bit. I did some samples and I chose Just Walnut by Dulux, which now that it's fully coated looks super pink on the walls, and I don't know if I like it. I had thought it was more of a beige. However, having already bought the paint, I don't want to waste money. We're getting new sandstone oak coloured flooring put down, and the rest of the room will be natural jute rug, wooden coffee table, dark green sofa. Is there anything you can suggest to balance out the pink on the walls, or do I just need to start again? Well, Vicky, in preparation for this podcast, I did a Google of Just Walnut by Dulux. And it's super neutral to me looking at it. I wasn't.
It doesn't look pink. I mean, I can see there's a possible pink undertone on the screen, but it's not a colour that jumps out at me as being a pinky neutral.
And then, teaming that with the fact that this is a north-facing room, which has a lot of blue light, this colour really shouldn't be singing pink. So what I'm thinking is, maybe it is just the fact that you haven't put all the other elements in and you just need to hold the faith in this instance. I think the dark green sofa looks lovely, and I'm wondering whether you bring in some more green elements, like some plants, maybe a little bit of pattern that has some green in, to sort of like, it's not, what I'm saying is this is not a dominant colour. You haven't actually painted your walls pink. This is
Yes, it's interesting that it's reading pink, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would have said it's more of a, it's like a mushroom. So it's got that slight, really barely there bit of pink, but it is a sort of grey, warm grey. But, the best advice I think often is, I interviewed Beate Hoyman ages ago on Substack, a couple of months ago.
Who's very sort of well-established interior designer.
Yes, and she's known for her use of colour, but actually if you look at her design, she always has pale walls and she brings in the colour everywhere else. And she said that she was having a conversation with her husband and she'd got these two huge, quite flamboyant cushions and she put them on the sofa and her husband was like, oh, no, I don't think so. That's too much. We're not having them. And she said to him, good tactic for anyone. She said, oh, yes, darling, we're just, I just need to take a couple of photographs for the shop and, let's leave it for a month. And of course, in a month, he'd got used to it. And so they're still there. And I think, obviously that's quite a good manipulation tactic. But aside from that, it's about having a word with yourself. As Sophie says, bring everything else in and then see, does it still read pink? Or have you got used to it and actually you're not feeling overwhelmingly pink? So you do sometimes have to sit with it. But my final word, because I'm sure Sophie will have more, so I just want to say, the other thing about wall colour is sometimes we do get it wrong. And the test I use with a wall colour, obviously no colour is seen in isolation, but I think what you want to feel in a month when you've got everything in or you've looked at all the samples again, when you come in and see that wall, do you think, oh, that is a pretty colour? I just like looking at that colour. Or do you come in and go, oh God, it's too pink and nothing's brought it down, I don't like it, in which case maybe you will have to start again. There's only so much correction you can do if you hate the colour. There are tips like dark wood will bring it down, bringing in some chrome or silver or cooler colours might lessen the pinkness of it. But it may also be that you just don't like it. Well, give it a few weeks.
It's also interesting that green's your accent colour because green is kind of opposite pink on the colour wheel. So the thing is as well is green makes pinks look pinker.
Oh,
yeah. Greener. So the problem might be the green.
Yeah, that's a big replacement,
this
isn't it?
This is the difficulty, isn't it? Is like you never really can choose a colour in isolation. I say this a lot. That's why it's important to look at your palette in its entirety. You don't just pick a wall colour and then add other things later. I think it's important to look at all the colours from the get-go.
And the other thing I would say, which you've said there, I did some samples. Well done. You have to do samples, but you have to do them again for, and Vicky, you may have done this, but for anyone else, you've got to do samples in different parts of the room, because if you put a sample of paint opposite your window, then that colour is going to read much, much paler than it is if you put it next to the window in the corner, for example, where it's not receiving any direct light. So it will change. Or up near the ceiling, if you've done the ceiling in the same colour, it's going to be much more concentrated. So there's a real art to painting samples, and it is about looking at the colour at different times of day, but it's also looking at it on different walls depending on where the light's going to hit it or the door's going to come at it, because it will change in concentration and shadow and depth.
And also the other thing, just to add to that excellent piece of advice, is colour reflects in on itself too. So it's sometimes quite a good idea to do 2 big swatches and put them into a corner and see when the colours bounce off on one another. Quite often they intensify. I don't usually find that a massive problem with neutrals. It's usually when you're dealing with stronger colours. But Vicky, I feel like you're sensitive to the nuance. You are building a very neutral scheme here by the looks of things. You talk about the sandstone oak floor, the jute, the wood, and green is kind of the colour, right? So I can see that you're actually really, really sensitive to the nuance of colour. And I think that goes back to Kate's point that put it all together, live with it for a bit, but do not put up with it if you don't like it. I think for someone like you, it's going to be important that you get this colour right. So really, good luck, Vicky. I hope it all comes together for you.
And we've got time. Well, there we go. I was going to say we've got time for one more question, but I don't know who put this script together. Looking at myself, we've come up with the biggest question of the lot, but we'll try and just point you in a few directions. It's from Farzana, whose Instagram handle is at FCW Lifestyle and Interiors. Sophie?
So she says, how do you start designing a kitchen?
Just a little small question to end with.
I'm overwhelmed by the choices available, she says. All I want is a wow factor and to love it every time I walk into the room. Oh, Fazana, you sound like my kind of girl. Absolutely. I think, kitchens are massive. I think because they're the hub of the home. They're the heart of the home. We use them every day. They bring people together. They cost a fortune, so you want to get it right. I'm going to give you some quick fire bits, because we could do a whole episode on how to design a kitchen. But the fact that you're wanting wow factor and to love it every time means that you want a real emotional response to your kitchen. So you're not coming at this question with what are the practicalities? It's more like, how am I going to create a kitchen that I really love? And my first piece of advice would be, obviously your kitchen's got to be really practical. Worktops, flooring, we talked a lot about the wipeability. You've got to be lit really right. Yeah, we get all that. But I want you, Fazana, to follow your heart and have a kitchen that feels like it's a real reflection of you and who you are. Now, if that means that, like Helen, you're going to start wallpapering your kitchen in a fabulous pattern, or you might want a colourful kitchen, or you might be a little bit more like Vicky and just want a kitchen that's a complete celebration of beautiful natural materials. That, Fazana's up to you, but get into it. Get into your kind of design mojo with this. Colour, pattern, texture, all these elements will really help bring it to life. And hope that our Back to Basics episode, actually, you need to go back to the first episode, don't you?
And think about
the design process.
What I would say is, all I want is wow factor. That's a real giveaway sentence there. And you also said you're feeling overwhelmed. You need to take some time to work out, what is your wow factor? What are the kitchens that you've either seen in, we don't see hotel kitchens, seen in magazines or on Pinterest that make you go, wow. So, go to Pinterest or buy some, old fashioned print magazines. They're still there, and have a flick through. And, don't worry necessarily about the fact that that one's 20 meters by 20 meters or that one's got a window looking out over the sea. Ignore all that. Just see, what is making you go wow, and bring them all together. And then when you've pulled out or pinned 20 kitchens that make you go wow, take a break, and then go back and have a look and go, actually, what is the bit that's making me go, wow? Is it that incredible green cupboard, or is it that really strongly marbled worktop, And then you'll start to understand what for you is wow, because we all have different wows. And that will then hopefully give you a starting point and maybe lessen a bit of the overwhelm. And then you can start looking practically at how many cupboards can I fit and what do I want my worktop to be.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I think also a lot of the wow doesn't necessarily just come from the cabinets. I think a lot of people, when they're looking at a kitchen, it's all suddenly about the cabinets and the storage, and we can go down a right rabbit hole. And look, enjoy that, Fazana. That is part of the design journey. But it's sometimes like a fabulous piece of artwork, or a crystal chandelier hung over the island, or, a patterned rug on the floor, or some of the more a wallpaper. I mean, I wallpaper in my kitchen, and I'd say that's the wow. That's the thing that most people pick up on when they come to my home, is like, it's just wrapped in glorious pattern, and that's really brought the whole thing to life. So it might just be identifying a couple of design details which is going to elevate your kitchen out of the kind of kitchen catalogue, here's some beautiful cabinetry, into making it feel a little bit more special and a little bit more you.
It's got to be you. And one more thing I would say, which Sophie has done, and actually I've done as well. Don't feel that you have to have your wall cupboards or shelves the same as your base units, or your island the same colour. You can have the colours you want. You can mix them up as you want. You work out the colours you like. And if you can't decide between 3 different colours, then think about a way of bringing in 3 different colours.
Well, I've got 3 different colours in my kitchen, haven't I? I've got yellow, pink and deep red.
Where's I know the yellow. Where's the you've got a red island.
I've got a red island, and then I've got yellow larder units.
Of course, and pink base units. So there you go, Fuzz. I mean, we don't know how big your kitchen is, but you can have it all. You can have none of it. You can go completely neutral, and it's all about marble, wood, and texture. You can go with all the colours, but you need to understand, if you're feeling overwhelmed, work out what is your wow.
Just to bring Fazana back down to earth, because she is feeling overwhelmed by the choices, and we've just thrown loads of choices at her. She also asks, where does she start designing a kitchen? And I would just like to put in, because we've got very excited with the wow factor part of this question, that you do really want to start with your layout and planning and the sensible bits. I worked with Magnet for my kitchen, and they were brilliant because they are experts at layout. So I would start maybe getting some free advice from,
you can do it at IKEA as well, can't you? I mean, yes, you can.
IKEA, Howdens, Magnet, all the, they all do it. Wren, whatever. They'll give you a free consultation, and you take in your measurements of your room and where the windows are and where the plumbing is. It's a really good idea to put where any existing electrical sockets are. I mean, they can obviously move, but I would get your utilities, your windows, doorways, get all those measurements, go in, have a free consultation, and get some ideas of what the layout will look like. So that's kind of where I start, but in tandem with that, it's really important that you do the extra bit, the design bit, because kitchen designers quite often do like to lead you down this is really fashionable right now, you should have a navy kitchen, and it's like, no. Go to them for layout advice, Fazana, but make sure you choose your colours and your finishes. So therefore, it'll make it feel really you every time you walk into the room.
And you've done a bit whilst looking for your wow factor, take some ideas to them. So if you know you want open shelves, not closed cupboards, then take that to them. If you know that you really like to have a double sink, then take that to them, but because they need to make space for that. Or do you want a big hob if you cook a lot, or will a small one do? So have some sort of idea about what are your practical requirements, so that you don't waste time with them designing in a huge free range cooker when actually you just want a microwave and a wine fridge.
That's super advice. Fazana, we're so excited for it. I think designing your dream kitchen is possibly, I don't know, it's one of life's big moments, isn't it? It certainly was for me when I got to do mine. So I'm excited for you. I hope you enjoy the process. And indeed, we do hope you've all enjoyed this episode or this mini season, because it's kind of bringing us to a I've got a little tear coming to my eye, Kate. The end of another lovely little series with you. And I hope you've all enjoyed. Get stuck in. chatting to one another, either over on Facebook or our new Instagram account, thegreatindoors.podcast. We'd love to know what you think about the show. You can ask us any questions there, and indeed share your invaluable insights too. We also love hanging out on Substack. That's a bit new for both of us, so you can come and find us there.
I've been on there for 18 months. You see, you missed it. Do come and find me over there, Sophie. Substack is the space where we sort of share everything that interests us about interiors. So come over and find us. You will find my whole back catalogue from the days of Mad About the House, as well as new posts every week on design dilemmas such as these, finding your style, as well as interviews and house tours with experts, and of course my secret address book of where to shop.
Yeah, it is an incredible resource of information. It's amazing, your Substack, Kate. I could only dream of your Substack greatness. But if you're looking to deepen your interior design knowledge, or you want me to hold your hand through this complex renovation process, then my interior design school is the place to visit. You can find it at courses.sophierobinson.co.uk, and basically it's where I share absolutely everything that you need to know about decorating your home in a way that's perfect for you.
That's all for us from now, but a huge thank you for you to... Oh, I've so fluffed that line. Shall I do it again?
Finally!
It's the emotion.
Episode 6, and she's fluffed the line we do every week. Take another run up at it, Kate.
I'm having another go. Right, okay. Rainbows. That's all for... I can't do it. I'm going to do it very slowly. Now, okay, are you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to do this. That's all from us for now. But a huge thank you to you all for listening.
And we'll see you in the great indoors. Right, turn all that off.